the way.
We wanted men.
Welcome to episode 205 of the Smugglers Galaxy Podcast, your favorite Star Wars podcast for smugglers in the galaxy. I'm Glenn. On the other side of this is Jason.
Hello.
Hello there.
Hello there. Come here, my friend. I won't hurt you.
I don't remember owning a droid.
As he glares at it and is like, you shouldn't say that, dude. That's what I love about watching Alec Guinness's performance when he tells R2-D2 that in A New Hope.
Uh-huh.
He gives him that kind of look like, you shouldn't be saying that kind of stuff.
R2 does or Guinness?
Alec Guinness does. Because they were supposed to keep everything a secret, and R2's memory wasn't wiped.
Right.
So...
yeah, but it was all retconned because he had said it years before. Or whatever. No, they'd written it years later, so they had to fix it later. But it is fun watching the Star Wars trilogy, thinking of everything, and you see the memes of 20 years on Tatooine, and they used all old actors in the original trilogy, and then in the sequel trilogy or in the prequels, it's all younger actors. So it just doesn't make sense.
No.
But, you just suspend your belief and enjoy it. That's what I keep telling myself.
I saw George Lucas in a clip this week, and I don't know how old this is, if it's recent, if it's like 3 or 4 years old, but he was talking about how Star Wars, the first 6 films, is his philosophy, and that he lost Star Wars. And I just thought that was an interesting term, lost Star Wars. Mm-hmm. Because you sold it. We all lost Star Wars when you sold it. But I mean,
did we really? I mean, I know a lot of people are griping and moaning, and they're like, "Oh no, Disney ruined Star Wars." Do you think we'd even still have what we have if he didn't sell Star Wars?
I think that's a bad term. I don't even know how to rephrase that. But as I've said, like the original 6 movies are still there. Disney hasn't touched them. They haven't done anything except add a McClunky.
Right.
So in one respect, Disney hasn't ruined Star Wars. I guess maybe the complaint is Disney's not making Star Wars that resonates.
Yeah. I don't know. And like we keep saying, it sucks when you see what they're doing with Marvel, and then you see what they're doing with Disney, and it's like womp womp.
I think I mentioned this before, but the trailer for the Fantastic Four is leaked.
Yes, I've seen it. Have you seen it?
Yes. And what Michael Giacchino did with the soundtrack is very reminiscent of what John Williams did with the Superman soundtrack. Because if you listen to it, there's a part where you can almost hear that like a chorus, a non-existent chorus, just go Superman.
Oh yeah. I have to rewatch it from that perspective.
And right at the end of the trailer, there is a chorus though, but they go Fantastic Four, which I just absolutely love because it feels like a Sunday morning cartoon.
Yeah.
And it's very stylized, and I am ecstatic about this because they've already made 2 Fantastic Four movies. So it's like, how do you add something new the audience has never seen? And they're going way into the world building of the 1960s futuristic Tomorrowland aesthetic, and I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, no, it does. It looks incredible. I'm excited about it. So how long is it gonna? It's like 2 years before it comes out.
No, that's next summer.
Oh crap! Awesome. But yeah, no, you're right. It's all futuristic. It's all like, what if they took the 60s and made it, today's technology in it, and it looks incredible. I think it'll be cool. Yeah, but you're right. It's like, where else would they go with this? And I think it's the perfect movie,
What?
perfect in between to see what they're going to do. And then like at the end, Galactics comes out, and I think
He's not a storm cloud.
he's on a storm cloud.
That's in the first movie when Galactic, in the second one, sorry, with the Silver Surfer, Rise of the Silver Surfer, Galactus comes,
Uh-huh.
and he's just a big cloud in space.
Oh,
And
that
there's
sucks.
there's some lightning where you can kind of see the outline of Galactus, but they didn't think people could accept a giant man flying through space, eating worlds, and Marvel's like, no, we're doing that.
Right. Well, no, that's awesome. And yeah, like I said, when you see what they're doing with Marvel and versus Star Wars, they're knocking Marvel out the park, man.
Yeah.
And I think that's the disappointment. And I don't know what I mean, not that they're doing bad with Star Wars, it's not what we expected.
But we can get into some of the stuff that's released in D23. So we're recording this on Saturday. Now that I think about it, we probably should record on Sunday because tonight's the tonight or Saturday night for those that have listened already is the Disney Parks panel.
Ooh, yeah, well, we could save it for next week, though.
Um, I will say that the Disney Adventure World, which I believe is a Euro Disney park or the rebranding of a Disney park,
Uh-huh.
it's like their version of Hollywood Studios. They were originally going to have a Galaxy's Edge, but they do their models of what the park will look like,
Mhm.
and Galaxy's Edge is not part of that model. And it was supposed to have a Galaxy's Edge at one point.
That's a bummer. I maybe they're going to retool it. It would be cool if they would retool Galaxy's Edge. I mean, they could literally just do a couple of changes to Galaxy's Edge and be like, oh, it's Tatooine, but they could still keep the Falcon where it's at and just do a little bit of retooling and be like, it's Tatooine.
I think the easiest thing to do is to fold it into the most popular franchise, which would be the Mandalorian, and just make the Mandalorian go to Batuu. Come
Yeah.
on now. Like that's a quick fix. And make it like an adventure. Like you need to have an incredible set piece, an action scene that happens on Batuu.
Right.
So when you go there, you're like, oh, that's where the Mandalorian parked his ship in the same spot that the Falcon was in, and that's just where something happened. And
Right. No, I mean, that's what's cool about Harry Potter world is it's like, I've seen this in the movies.
yeah,
I've
but
been there.
we've been down this road. I'm sorry.
I know we have been. I didn't want to stick with it too long, but
In
yes.
conclusion, Disney is kind of paused on Galaxy's Edge, and they're not moving forward with that in other parks.
Well, good for them. Maybe they'll retool it, I hope.
Um, so let me go through pickups. Sorry, I'm way out of order.
The only thing I picked up this week is I guess they're rebooting the Uncanny X-Men, and the first one had a Gambit picture on it, so I picked that up. But I guess I'm gonna have to start reading that, especially if they're gonna release it like once a month.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, oh, there it is. Oh, Jason, I can't wait till I don't have to deal with that anymore.
Yeah, sorry. I'm showing off the Disney Park R5Z0MB, which is R5 Zomb for zombie. And as I said last week, Maisie picked up two. So this one's
Yay.
yours because there is a little scuff mark up here.
Oh
You
no.
see it? And it's not mint in package. So this one's yours. And also there's a little lift on the card right there on the bubble.
Uh-huh.
So this one's yours. I'm sorry.
Doggone
You
it,
can't
Jason. How
complain
dare you
about
give
getting
me something that's not mint packaging when I'm gonna open it?
it's a free droid. So you can't get upset.
Exactly. That's awesome.
But yeah, it's cool. The colors are cool. It doesn't glow in the dark, but like part of his dome has been rotted open. I can't really see it on Zoom, but like his brain, you can almost see like the inside, like it's his brains or something. And he's got like a sickly green and a very dirty maroon, and it's probably the coolest droid they've done in a while for me.
Yeah, I enjoyed the skeleton one they did a few years ago, but
Yep.
I'm sure that thing's expensive just because it's such an awesome looking droid.
Yeah. So that came Hu Yang. What did you get anything else before I just dive right in and make
No,
assumptions?
that's all I got. I'm kind of waiting on. I did try to bid on some stuff. Because some more wax sculpts came up, and I bid like $160 and got outbid
Hmm.
by like another $10. But at that point, I'm trying. It just didn't work out. But what you gonna do? there's not a whole lot you can do about it when the eBay gods don't look kindly on you.
Yeah. There is something on eBay that I want. I'm just watching it right now, so we'll see. Maybe in a couple of weeks, I'll have something else to report. It's
Yeah. I mean, there's some other stuff on eBay that I've got I'm just going to say it. I got a snipe on, so we'll see what happens. The last time this thing came up, it went for like $100. So I'm hoping it doesn't go for that much. But it is what it is. Well, we'll see. Heck, I can huh?
Did you get your photos?
No, I did not get the photos yet,
Okay.
but I know who has them, and they are. I'm just waiting because I've got other. He's waiting. He's got a first shot death that he's waiting to get, and I got to finish paying that off. And then once he gets the death, I'll just send him the payment for the photos and finish the death off, and then I'll get more stuff for the Bill and Ted run.
I just paid off all of my episode 1 Micro Machines, not Action Fleet, episode 1 Micro Machines play sets. The transforming ones. The Darth Maul is tough to find. That one's going for $350
Damn.
alone. So I've just finished paying those off. I think those should be in the mail, but there's also something else that I'm paying off, so I have to wait for those. But I'll mention those when they arrive.
Yeah, the thing I'm hunting, because I can say because it ends Sunday night, so by the time of this recording, it'll be already ended, so nobody can sneak me on it. But somebody has posted up research reports on Bill and Ted from Kenner on eBay.
Oh,
And it actually mentions like the unproduced stuff. So last time these things went for over $100. I'm hoping it doesn't do that again, but I guess we'll see. I got a snipe at like $60 on it. So if I can get it for that, that would be awesome. But we'll
like I kind of was mentioning before, I did order Hu Yang, the vintage collection, so he should be arriving in the mail today on Saturday. Then on Sunday, I will be getting the Black Series Darth Maul SDCC exclusive. That one just spoke to me nostalgically, and I decided that I wanted to pick that one up. So that one's coming, and that one's a candidate for opening. We'll see. I don't want to be too precious about Black Series anymore.
Were you did you find it off the website?
Yeah, it came up for, was it Wednesday? It became available for a short window.
Mm-hmm.
They went up early, like we had mentioned a couple last week. They went up early and they quickly sold out before I can actually buy one. But then a second stock went up. I wonder if they're still available as of this recording. I can look that up real quick. But I did like it. The Sith beater, something cool. So I'll be able to show that off next week.
No, I saw one in person at the last Powder Springs swap, and it looked pretty cool. All that stuff from San Diego, they knocked that stuff out the park. But I guess you have to when you're asking extra money for it.
It's still available, so I guess as of this recording, limit 3 per.
3 per. When it's 3 per, they're having issues with it.
Limit 3 per reseller.
Yeah. What are those going for? Just out of
They're
curiosity.
$60.
60?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It comes with a couple extras.
Yeah, I think it's worth it.
So
yeah,
I got one and I have zero regrets about that.
Right.
No regrets.
I'm getting aggravated with Target because I keep going in trying to find the Micro Galaxy stuff and hoping, and it's just they're either not putting it out yet, or they just don't give a crap. But there again, I keep talking about it like it's going to change, and it hasn't.
Yeah. It's a struggle.
Right.
I did see the ghost this morning, but I was moving my daughter. I ran to Target to pick something up for my daughter. She moved to an apartment. She's moving out of the house, and it might be a couple months before I actually move this computer, by the way. So you're going to see this background a little bit longer.
Yeah, well, I don't blame you. Take your time, get the room set up, man. If you want to paint, take a breather and do what you need to do with the room before you throw stuff in it, because you'll regret it later if you don't.
But I think
so you did see the ghost. I mean, the ghost, the only reason I picked it up is because I did have the stuff and the coupons, and it was some places you see it, some places you don't, because there are some that I still don't see the ghost in, which is kind of weird. I don't understand. Some of them have 2, some of them have none. I don't understand it.
I don't either. Let's see. Sean Levy, who's directed Deadpool and Wolverine and is making $1 billion, spoke to Josh Horowitz because he's supposed to do his own Star Wars movie.
Uh-huh.
And the other rumor was that he was going to direct the Avengers, which turned out to be Doomsday or Secret Wars. That was the rumor. But he's not directing any Marvel movies right now, so his schedule's kind of open. And he was supposed to be working on a Star Wars movie.
Okay.
And what he said is, I'll say that the experience of crafting this story has forced me to think about that question because there's only, like, they're asking him about what he's doing. Because there's only so many times that Star Wars movies can revisit the same section of timeline, and so it's really forced me because I don't want to do another Star Wars movie that's redundant to others, nor am I interested in doing in one that serves another movie. I really want to craft something that felt organic to me, both in tone and character. So I think that there's certainly the Force and a connection to something bigger than ourselves, and the way that can make us powerful. Those themes combined with visual delight and wish fulfillment, that's Star Wars for me. So it looks like he's doing something that's more in tone to like maybe the Force, the Jedi.
Hmm.
We'll see.
Yeah, I'm all for stuff getting away from the Skywalker saga. I mean, I love, the Mandalorian stuff and the Andor stuff because it's getting away from. I mean, even though Mandalorian still has some of the Force in it, Andor has none of it. So it's cool to get away from that.
There's a rumor online, which, I don't like giving rumors credence, but nevertheless, I'm going to approach it because it is just a topic of conversation, maybe.
Hmm.
It's saying that Kathleen Kennedy is ready to retire, but she wants to go out on a win. She wants to do something that's critically and commercially successful. I don't think she wants to go on these little like wishy-washy shows.
Right.
Um, and so if that's true, probably looking at a 2006, because I think The Mandalorian and Grogu, which we'll talk about in a minute, is going to be successful.
Right.
So she might be around for another 2 years. But anyways, I was trying to identify people that could possibly take over Lucasfilm,
Uh-huh.
and I want to know your thoughts. There are a couple people who are like senior vice presidents. There's a vice president and general manager of Lucasfilm Business, who is probably the second ranking person at Lucasfilm.
Okay.
You also have, and that's Linwin Brennan. She's the president and general manager of Lucasfilm Business. If you go to their leadership page, you have Kathleen Kennedy on the left, and you've got uh, Linwin on the right. Um, and they both share like the same size. So I'm wondering if this person's going to be the next president of Lucasfilm.
Hmm.
It's possible. I mean, they do that all the time. They have succession planning. Carrie Beck, who does a lot of she's an executive vice president, live action development and production. Her name is always mentioned in the credits of all the Star Wars TV shows and movies. She's always mentioned as a producer, and I'm just wondering if possibly she might fill in that president CEO role that Kathleen Kennedy holds. Obviously, there's Dave Filoni, who's the chief creative officer for the company. I mean, he's a master of storytelling, or up to a point. I think some people are a little worried with Ahsoka. And then you've
Ahsoka
got,
was his baby, though, man. Jeez, never mind.
it
Don't get
was,
me going on Ahsoka.
yeah, I'm thinking about Ahsoka now. Anyways, there's John there's
It was
John
good. It
Fat.
was enjoyable, man. I'm sorry, but I'm also a really, really hardcore Rebels fan, so of course I was going to enjoy it. Yeah, he could have put. I've heard this about Tony Hawk one time when his skateboards back in the day, they were like they could have put a pile of poo on a piece of plywood and sold it as a Tony Hawk skateboard. So that's sort of how I feel about Dave Filoni and Rebels.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what he did with Rebels, I would have enjoyed it.
John Favreau could be a possibility. However, he's never really ran a giant company like Lucasfilm.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's got his own production company, but it's a little bit different running a company like Lucasfilm with a video game section and a business section, a book section, and all Industrial Light and Magic, Skywalker Sound. Those are subsidiaries of Lucasfilm. So the only other person I could think of is Kevin Feige, but does Disney want him walking away from Marvel? Because the rumor was that he was spread so thin, and that's the reason why Marvel fell into its slump, is because he wasn't as hands-on and involved in the decision-making process as he once was.
Right.
So I'm curious to know who might be the next president of Lucasfilm. George Lucas stuff is out. Don't just
He doesn't
stop
want to do it.
believing George Lucas is coming back.
Oh, come on. Yes, he is. We've got to mark it off our bingo card, Jason.
No, he's not coming back.
Damn it. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't want Dave Filoni to do it because he's too good of a storyteller. I mean, and I don't know if he could run the company and still do the stories that he wants to do.
Remains to be seen.
Yeah. Just and I don't necessarily think Kathleen Kennedy did that bad of a job with it. It just she doesn't do stuff we agreed with because Galaxy's Edge, the stuff she did was questionable. I don't know if it ruined it. I don't know. Like we keep arguing. It comes a point where you have to stop and realize that Star Wars is for the 9 and 10-year-olds. We just need to sit and enjoy it and let them come aboard and have fun with it and watch it through their eyes.
Yeah, I think what they did with the High Republic, when they got all those authors into the room and they figured out what the story of the High Republic was going to be in phases,
Mm-hmm.
I think they learned their lesson from the sequel trilogy,
Yep.
where they didn't have a story. And so, I mean, we'll see. It remains to be seen how her tenure will be judged.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we needed a person with a vision
Yes.
and where to take Star Wars. I don't think we need someone who's just like, you want to tell a story? Great. You want to tell a story? Great. It's if you
You
want to
get to
tell
tell a story.
yeah, it's like if you want to tell a story, we're telling the story of Thrawn. So Thrawn's a character, and we want this choice to be made in your movie, and we need this revealed that Thrawn is actually a Kenobi. So,
No, I mean, that's what I think that truthfully now hearing you say that, I think they lost that because I know with the books, there used to be a pretty good fact checking system. And that's why they ended up getting rid of the EU because they had people. I mean, every part of that book had to be fact checked. And if it was wrong, you had to fix it. And they were looking through hundreds of books to make sure everything was right. And I think they've lost that.
yeah, I think Disney bought Star Wars and they quickly put in too many movies into production. And they just told what they wanted to tell shareholders was that, Star Wars made $1 billion a year. Look what The Force Awakens made, $2 billion. We're going to have that every Christmas now.
Right.
But Ryan
And we
Johnson.
had other plans.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what people did, Jason? They voted with their wallets.
Yes. Yes. Ryan Johnson made The Last Jedi without seeing The Force Awakens because it physically wasn't done. So that's why the tone kind of shifts.
Right.
And then J.J. Abrams comes back and he's like, we need to change the tone back to The Force Awakens. And the movie starts with a breakneck pace. It's like, slow down a minute. Why are we force jump or hyperspace jumping so fast? It's like, I don't have time to breathe at the start of that movie. Anyways, that's all the news I had.
All right. No, the sequel trilogy was like that report when you have to write a 5-page report with some buddies and you go, okay, you're going to take the first 2 pages. I'm going to take the middle pages and we'll take the last pages. And you just slap it all together and you hope it works. And yeah, I mean, they personally admit that there was no plan for the sequel trilogy. And like you said, with the High Republic and them rearranging, and I just think they need to laser focus, and it feels like maybe they're starting the laser focus again, and hopefully that's going to be good for Star Wars.
Because at the end of The Last Jedi, if they were planning things out and they wanted to bring Sidious back in the third one or the ninth movie, they should have at the end of Last Jedi, when Snoke was dead, revealed that the Emperor was back,
right,
or something, and you could have seen something on Exegol where someone's like, Snoke is dead, and another person goes, we don't need Snoke anymore, and that's when they cut to a tube and Sidious's eyes open up, and you're like, oh man.
Right, that would have been amazing. And then you would be like, okay, now I got to see what's happening the next episode. And it did feel with episode 9 that he had to go back and fix a lot of stuff from episode 8. And it just, I mean, episode 9 was great, but it's like if you didn't have to fix everything from episode 8, it could have been a way better movie.
But enough of the past. Let's look forward because they revealed a couple things at D23 last night, Friday
No
night.
way. My
They
feed's been,
did.
I haven't seen anything on my feed, Jason.
First up is Skeleton Crew. And it's kind of weird. We were talking about like, what are they gonna find? They're gonna find Home One. And the trailer, they find a ship, and it's like, where did that come from? That was a lucky guess.
Right.
And there's a skeleton that's on the ship, which reminded me of When I Willie.
Yeah.
So we meet the 4 kids that are living in suburbia Star Wars, which
That was weird looking.
it's very weird. It doesn't seem to fit for me.
Yeah.
Paved roads when they have hover bikes. Like, well, we don't need paved roads. We've got hover bikes.
I guess maybe that's just their way to say, yes, there is normalcy in Star Wars. It doesn't have to always be wars.
No, it doesn't. But and nevertheless, it was the tone, the setting, I should say, was a little off-putting for me because I'm like, wait, my brain's kind of broken.
Yeah. But I don't know. I'm looking forward to this. I hope that they can continue on what the path that this is going to take.
Yeah, I thought it was fun. I liked it. The kids seemed to act. There wasn't any like red flags, like, oh, I don't like the way the kid delivered that line. I was afraid, like, because one kid has eyewear that kind of reminds me of what's his face from Star Trek. I'm not a Star Trek guy. LeVar Burton's character, he's got the
Is it
visor.
Data? No, that's not Data.
That's not Data.
But yes.
You could yell it in your car.
Yeah,
I don't care.
I'm gonna ruin it for everybody. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go
The reading
butterfly
rainbow guy.
in the sky.
Yeah, that
guy. I can go twice as high.
I was afraid that she wears glasses like that, but in the trailer you see her flip them down, so it's almost like they're like binoculars she just wears on her head, except they're these glasses.
Right.
But the kids, they find some ship and they must accidentally press something because they rocket off into space. And there's a little Lost in Space vibe there because it doesn't seem like they know how to get back, and it's just going to its pre-programmed place.
Yeah.
That was cool. Like I said, the skeleton reminded me of One-Eyed Willie.
Yeah, when I first saw it, because I just see the poster, it looked like an E-wing or a U-wing, but it's not.
No, because it's got to be older.
Right.
But is it a relic of the Clone Wars? Is it a relic from the High Republic? That remains to be seen.
Right. And I thought they did the reveal of Jude Law very good because it's like all of a sudden the key flies into his hand and they're like, you're a Jedi. And then there's Jude Law. I'm excited. I mean, because they did the characters on D23. They had some of the pirates, and the pirates look great.
Yes. Yeah, one looks like Ariel Shush. What's his name from the HasLab that didn't get funded? The
Oh yeah, the wolf
17,000 tier.
guy.
Yes, he's one of the characters. There's a Reese looking guy, but he's thinner than Reese.
Right.
You've got Vane, the space pirate we saw in Mandalorian season 3. He's the one that was giving Mando trouble. And then finally you get to see like a K2SO droid.
Yeah.
And whether he's good or bad, again, remains to be seen. But he was seen in the trailer and they look cool. I just wonder if they're going to just reuse that head for Ariel Shush. What's his name? I don't know.
The wolf man?
The wolf man. If they're going to reuse that and just make the guy from the HasLab.
They probably will.
It's a repaint.
You couldn't get him in the HasLab, but you can get him with the Skeleton Crew people.
Yeah.
It don't matter. He's going to sit in a corner. You can just reuse him. I can totally see them doing that.
Yep. And there's a little Max Rebo guy. So I like the characters, designs. I think they're pretty cool. So we'll see.
Yeah. I'm just concerned because the Acolyte, I mean, the people poo-pooed on Ahsoka, then they really took big old dumps on the Acolyte. I just hope this can bring everybody back because I mean the Mandalorian and Grogu looks incredible. But I mean they've got the Mandalorian and Grogu's got big shoes to fill because it'll be the first Star Wars movie in a theater in what 5 years, 5, 6 years, something crazy like that. Jason's having microphone trouble.
Sorry.
Jason's microphone just died on him, so he's fixing that. Did you fix it, Jason? Hello, Jason.
I'm sorry.
Oh, it's his microphone died. I guess that the
Gremlins are out.
he's
like, "You haven't
back
seen
and he's
us in a
back,
while."
ladies and gentlemen. So how long has it been? It's been what 5, 6 years?
Since
Six?
no, since what?
Since we're gonna get a Mandalorian and Grogu.
2026 and
Right?
2019.
No. Since the last Star Wars movie.
When it comes out, it was 2019, right?
So yeah, you're looking at 7, 8 years.
Yeah, between Star Wars movies.
So the Mandalorian and Grogu's got has got a lot. There's high expectations for that movie, is what I was saying.
Yes. And I'm excited about it because we see some like with the Mandalorian where his mindset is. He talks a little bit about, I'm kind of retired because I've got Grogu who's my apprentice, my foundling, and it's my job to train him, and I'm a little bit more selective in the bounties that I track down now.
Well, that was sort of where they left off at the end of the series on season 3. Was he felt like he was retired and was just going to enjoy the fruits of his labor.
But it seems like he goes out for one more bounty, and boy, is it a big one.
Oh, it looks oh my God. It's like, hey, you wanted fan service? Here you go.
Well, I guess if you like certain characters from Rebels, it's fan service.
Well, that, and if you like
the inside of an AT-AT.
Yes, exactly.
Imperial Walker.
AT-ATs and stormtroopers, snow troopers.
Yeah, that was a cool shot of snowtroopers because it took my brain a second to be like, wait, is that the one from the sequel trilogy or the original trilogy? And it looks like an original trilogy snowtrooper.
Yeah, no, it all is OG stuff. Shoot. The thing that's frustrating to me about the whole thing is you're seeing all of this stuff from cell phone footage, and it's like, Disney, just release it, man, please. I mean, I know I've got thoughts too where we're going because you were saying that people had paid a lot of money to be there.
Yeah, they were selling seats at the arena where they're showing all this stuff off. So Disney didn't. I'm assuming Disney didn't want to sell a ticket for $300 or $1,200 because I think they went really expensive, and then turn around and just release all that information online.
Yeah, I mean, I saw
for free. For free.
For free, or at least wait till after. I don't know, but I saw like crappy cell phone footage, and you're trying to like squint your eyes and hope stuff buffers in time. And I mean, it looks incredible. I mean, first half of it, of course, was all like when I first saw it, because the first half of it is stuff from previous seasons, and I thought that it was just a fan. Somebody had made it up, and then you realize, oh no, they're just building. They got to fill in space. And then, of course, all of a sudden you see Zeb in a freaking Razor Crest, and you're like, I got questions, man.
Yeah.
What is Zeb doing flying a Razor Crest? And did Mando find his Razor Crest, or is this a flashback, or, what's going on?
I think there's another one out there.
There has to be.
I think that's what we find.
And I wonder if Zeb owns it and he has to buy it back from Zeb.
But Pedro Pascal did record. We did hear his voice.
Yeah.
And
well, I mean,
who was he
all the stuff? Huh?
Who was he talking to about the foundling? Was that previous voice?
I think so. I think the first half of it was all old footage, but maybe. It was really hard to hear with the one I watched, but
and there's a shot of Mando running down a mountain, like the Swiss Alps looking setting, and he's driving an ATDP from the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
And as he comes down the mountain, he turns left, and there are a couple Imperial walkers that start blasting the snow, and he's like dodging it. And it's sort of the money shot, and it's like, okay, I'm on board for this. If this looks phenomenal and it's on the big screen, I will be guaranteed 3 showings.
Right. And because it just shows them, and then there's a close up, and there's Grogu sitting in his lap as he's
Yeah.
riding. So you're just like, yeah, they're gonna pull at the tug at the heartstrings for this one.
And the last shot, the money shot, I guess, is Grogu with a couple Anzalians in like a mini cockpit. Were
I
they in a
think
tube?
I think they were in the mouse droid.
Oh, the mouse droid that's driving around. So
Yes, I think they were in the mouse droid because that mouse droid was hauling ass.
that's a cute idea. I think I'm on board for that.
Yeah, I just want to see some more Mandalorian stuff. And I want to see good Star Wars in a theater again.
Yeah, I want to see Thrawn. I want to see Thrawn in this movie.
Oh my God. That
Let's
would be
do it.
cool.
Sign me
Yeah,
up.
it has to he has to show something in this movie because he was in already mentioned in a Mandalorian.
If Luke Skywalker's going to be in this movie, which I guess a rumor is going around that he is, do you want to see Alden Ehrenreich or do you want to see them derp fake Harrison Ford on someone?
I want to see them recast.
Do you want someone
I
other than Alden?
I think he did look good. Oh, you're talking if we're looking for Han Solo?
Yeah, Han Solo.
Yeah, put Alden back in it. I think he did a fine job.
But then recast Luke?
Yeah, recast everybody. You let Alden play Han Solo again, and because this is happening at the same time as like just after Return, right? So it's not like you have to
Yeah,
age him up.
we're about 3 to 5 years afterwards. I mean, each season of The Mandalorian gets further away from Return of the Jedi. And then
Right.
Ahsoka happens, and I think this probably happens after Ahsoka.
So I mean, he could play he can be his natural age because of the time from Solo to now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it would be a great idea to let him play Han Solo again. I mean, I thought he did a good enough job. I just think, and I think, what was his name that played Lando?
Donald Glover.
Donald Glover did such a good job playing Lando that nobody. I mean, you would have had to have nailed Han Solo, and he didn't. He did a good job, but he didn't nail it like Donald Glover did.
Yeah.
And I think that, and there was just so much wrong with that movie, and it wasn't even the movie's fault.
Well, Jon Favreau kicked off Iron Man. He kicked off the MCU, so maybe he can kick off the next Star Wars movie franchise because the rumor was that Dave Filoni's movie will follow this. It'll be like a sequel almost.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you can fold in Ahsoka, make an Ahsoka movie with the Mandalorian and Skeleton Crew and all those guys and
Well,
Jude
wasn't
Law.
that was the rumor anyway? This was all
Yes.
building up to one
Yes.
major movie.
I guess what I'm saying is that I hope that it's a good omen that he's kicking it off.
Right.
Because he also kind of kicked off the live action. Well, that's not true. He just did a really good job with the Jungle Book. Never mind. Because the Lion King wasn't as well received.
That was another thing. Did you see the live action Stitch?
Yes, I was just about to mention that. You brought it up, so what do you want to say?
Oh no, I just thought I mean, the 30 seconds you saw of him, I thought it looked really good.
Yeah, I'll say that I'm glad that they didn't redesign Stitch because, with the Lion King movies, they went photo real.
Right.
And they don't look anything like the characters. They could have done something very stylized, but they all look real. And it looks like they learned their lesson and they just said, Stitch is supposed to be hairy. Just make a 3D version of that and give him hair.
Right. I'm kind of, why are they, I guess, because that's what they do. You had a successful movie, so let's make a live action version of it, redo it live action. I mean, why?
It all comes down to shareholders because nobody wants to take a risk in something new and then it becoming a flop. They want a guarantee of some sort. And with these movies, there's a built-in fan base.
Uh-huh.
And they figure people aren't watching the animated movies anymore. They want to see live action stuff. So let's just remake it and we check off so many other different boxes in this list of, there's a fan base. There's people who like this movie. We don't have to worry about it being a complete flop. And it's just an easy decision.
And there's also the thought, 50 years ago they were doing this, or no, that's not even 50 years ago. In the 40s, 50s, 60s, they didn't have the technology we do today as far as like VCRs and DVD players and
Yeah.
the I got download and stuff, the stuff in the clouds and everything like we do now. So when they were doing this in the 40s, 50s, 60s, nobody cared.
I
You
was just
can't go, here's a 20-year-old movie I have on a DVD that I can watch versus go and see it in a theater.
I mean, I was just watching Dumb and Dumber the other day, old school, and these are like original comedies. It's not like they went back and let's just remake Duck Soup
Right.
or Some Like It Hot. They were making new stuff. People were taking risks, and they just don't do that anymore. And I mean, if you look at Peter Farrelly's latest movie, the one with John Cena on Amazon, what's his name? Ducky Mc something.
The where he fakes being somebody or
Yeah, I
they
mean,
hire him to be a friend.
it went straight to Amazon and nobody was talking about it. So I don't even know how to judge it as a success. Dumb and Dumber and Old School were definitely money earners. They just don't do original things anymore. It has to be a franchise.
Hell, and even the franchises they're redoing.
But when you look at the billion-dollar stuff, I mean, Inside Out too, but Zootopia was an original piece that was a billion-dollar earner.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's sad.
Yeah. Well, aren't they? Didn't they announce the Zootopia 2? They announced a whole bunch of sequels.
Yeah. Uh, I guess we can talk about Tron in a minute, but they also released a trailer for Andor season 2. I haven't seen that yet.
I haven't either.
I did see that a trailer from Celebration has been on YouTube for Andor for over a year, and I haven't seen it yet. But I mean, it looked just more like if you like the original series, the season 1, you're gonna like this one. It kind of had the same tone. The new trailer does show off K2SO, Krennic, Saw, Gerrera, and Two Tubes.
Yep.
So it would be cool to see the accident that transforms Saw Gerrera on Geonosis. I guess there's a gas explosion, and that's what makes him need the breathing apparatus.
That'd be fun to see. Yeah.
Did you just fart?
No, I got a runny nose and I don't have any tissues.
Oh, that's what we heard. Snort. Um, sorry. We keep
Oh,
it
you're
highbrow.
fine, but
We keep it
edit.
highbrow.
What's edit, man? Who edits?
But yeah, season 1 of Andor I thought was perfect. It was great
Yeah.
Star Wars.
And I think when you say, I don't know, I think people they're treading a fine line because you got people like us that are just like, I don't give a crap that it's not lightsabers, it's Star Wars. And then you got people that are like, I need lightsabers.
Yeah. So I'm excited about that. Was there anything else that Star Wars was Skeleton Crew, Andor, Mandalorian, and Grogu, right?
Yes, I think that's all they announced.
Yeah.
I mean, have you seen all the footage of the speeder from Star Tours?
Yeah. I'm going for it, but hopefully the Force will be with me. I mean, there's a lot of chatter, and there's people who don't even collect modern stuff who's been impressed from that Star Speeder 3000.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go for it. I hope I get it. It will be an opener, but I won't be opening up Rex.
Do you know the amount of stuff I was looking at one this morning, and it's like you could put so much stuff in that speeder.
Yeah, I was thinking about going to Second Chance and just buying some beater stuff.
Yeah. It'd be fun to do, man. You can just load a whole bunch of figures in there and
Yeah,
it'd hold 30 figures or something crazy like that.
I would definitely want to get a Chewbacca and a couple of Ewoks because those were in the film for loading loading video.
And they showed it, man, and it definitely there's the old school video. It's right there.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal piece. And congratulations if you got it, because when this drops, it'll be over. It's something that looks very special, and I wish that they would just do more stuff like that.
Yeah.
Take it over from Hasbro if you have to, because you're doing much better than them. Or reduce the price.
Who's designing that stuff? I mean, I think we talked about this a couple episodes ago, and Nobody knows.
Yeah, it's not a company, it's a Disney thing, but Disney does hire out, so they hire someone to design it. I'm surprised it's just a 3,000 piece item though. I wonder if they'll do a second run of the Star Speeder 2000.
With the different, maybe, or maybe
Because
they'll do another one that doesn't have Rex in it or something.
it's weird because right now our Star Tours The Adventure Continues, which is a prequel to the original Star Tours.
Okay.
So canonically, the Star Speeder 2000, which is the one that you're currently flying, is before the Star Speeder 3000, which is the old one you're flying.
Why would they do that?
I don't know, but
I
they
didn't
did.
even. Huh?
They did. It's a prequel to the original Star Tours.
That's weird. I didn't even notice they did that because I'm just get so excited to see have Star Wars. That was such a cool ride the first time I rode it because it was like
Yeah.
there's a Star Wars ride. Let's go.
And the part where you fly in the comet and you are like in the ice tunnels,
Yeah.
that was inspired. That inspired Ryan Johnson to include the crystals in The Last Jedi. So when you're flying, when the Chewbacca's flying the Millennium Falcon into Crate and you see all the crystals and he's dodging all that stuff, that was directly inspired from the original Star Tours.
Yeah. Such a cool ride.
Yep, and I'll be going for it. Hopefully, wish me luck. Maybe the Force be with me.
Well, I'm curious how many of those are going to be left from D23.
Only 3,000 made.
Right.
Um, they did release some footage from Tron Ares. Were you ever into Tron?
I enjoyed it, but I wasn't like Tron. I mean, it was a good the second I mean, it was a good watch, but I wasn't like overly into it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not overly into Tron like I am with Star Wars, but I did like Tron Legacy. I do have it in 3D. I love the soundtrack. I mean, they got Daft Punk to do that.
Mhm.
I thought it was really cool and I dug it a lot. And was disappointed that they didn't make a direct sequel because it was open-ended.
Mhm.
Tron Ares, they released some footage last night. Jared Leto plays Ares, who's the artificial program that comes out uh, because of Dillinger, who's taken over the company. Dillinger was the bad guy in the first one, and Cillian Murphy plays him in the second one. He plays a Dillinger. So they're the evil family that I don't know, they're the villains. Anyways, they bring in Tron, they bring Ares, this program, out into the computer. So they're driving light cycles and they're playing their disc wars in real world. They're outside of the grid.
Ooh,
So that's the kind of ideas that he could potentially damage the Earth.
that's interesting.
But then Jeff Bridges comes out at the end. But I mean, he's not as powerful. He's just a human outside of the grid.
Mhm.
We see him in the second movie, and he's kind of godlike, where he's just creating his own world. I mean, he's literally creating a character in his image.
Right.
So, and then Nine Inch Nails, were you ever into them? I know you're like the heavy rock.
Not really, but I mean, I wouldn't turn them off when they were on the radio, but I wasn't like
Because
a big Nine Inch Nails fan. Yeah, they're
they
doing
got,
the music, right?
yeah, they got them to do the music since Daft Punk is broken up.
Dude, it's promising. When is that supposed to be released?
I think it's next October.
Do you think it'll take 5 years like they did the Tron cycle?
No,
Did
no,
you
but
ride the Tron cycle?
not
Have you
yet.
ridden it?
Nope, not
Don't
yet.
waste your time unless you got an hour to spend.
I mean, I love Tron, so I'm gonna go do it eventually.
And keep your glasses on. The one piece of advice I can give you is keep your glasses on because there's stuff that's going on around you. And I didn't wear my glasses and I wish I would have because you can't see
What does
anything.
it say? I can't read that, Sonny. Slow this thing down.
Right, exactly. Well, I mean, the whole thing about it is you're going into a race. So when you're inside, there's big LED screens there's other light cycles running around you, and you
Yeah,
can't. I mean, you can tell what it is, but you can't see anything without your
yeah.
glasses. So I'm sure riding that thing at night would be amaze balls.
Um, what else? James Cameron walked out and he announced that the next movie for Avatar next December will be called Fire and Ash.
I'll wait for that to be on Disney Plus.
Yeah, I can tell you're not excited. It's like one of
I
these movies where I don't want to go back and watch it, but if it's on, I'll watch it.
Right, exactly. I won't pay to go to a theater to watch it, but I'll watch it on Disney Plus because it's always like a 3 hour movie and it's always the same crap. It's like, here's the main character and he's going to have his family and they're going to have to deal with some shit. And here you go.
Um, but it must resonate with some people because there was articles after the first one was released talking about psychiatrists talking about like immersing yourself in the world and people were depressed because they had to separate themselves from it. There was articles about people who it, they enjoyed going to see it in 3D and living in the world and experiencing it, and then they step out of the theater and they feel depressed because they're not living in it. So it must have resonated with people in some
That's so
respect.
weird. I did hear that watching the first movie in 3D was very immersive because they had like stuff falling and there were like dust particles or something that was happening and it felt like you were definitely inside the movie, but I never
Yeah.
seen it in theaters.
Incredibles 3 is happening. I've always loved the Incredibles movie, and it seemed like they said that Brad Bird, who directed and wrote the first two movies, was producing or crafting the story.
Mhm.
So it remains to be seen if he's just going to be involved in the story aspect of things. He's going to hand off directing to someone else inside of Pixar.
I
But
guess I need to watch The Incredibles. I mean, there again,
where's
it's
my super suit? Why do you need it? You tell me what my super suit is, woman. You've seen the
yeah,
mashup from Avengers in The Incredibles?
nuh-uh.
Yeah, so in that scene I'm talking about where Frozone's looking for a suit, there's a helicopter that's spinning and crashing in a building behind him.
Uh-huh.
And if you go to Avengers Infinity War, the post-credit scene where you see him disappear, Sam Jackson,
Yes.
no, um, in the background, people have synced it together where the helicopter does the same exact movement. So it's almost like if you're watching Avengers Infinity War, you can imagine that the building, over his shoulder is where Frozone is looking for his super suit. You tell me what a super suit is, woman. And obviously Samuel L. Jackson played both
Yeah,
Frozone and
I wouldn't put it past them because there's a lot of times where there's Easter eggs that you have to look that hard at, and it's the
Nick
same
Fury.
thing.
That's the name I was looking for. He played both.
Yes,
But yeah, it's pretty cool. You could look it up online. It's on YouTube and
on the
all
YouTubes.
your TikToks and your Instagrams. Freakier Friday, a sequel to Freaky Friday was announced. Blah da.
Yeah.
There's a population that'll enjoy that with Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan. That's basically it. They did show off some Daredevil stuff. Fantastic Four, as we mentioned at the top of the show. Um, Ironheart, which is Riri Williams. It's like the Iron Man. We saw her in the Black Panther movie, the second one,
Okay.
but she
I
kind of
still haven't watched it. I keep forgetting that's on Disney Plus. I need
she
to watch it.
develops her own armor, and War Machine's in it, and Justin Hammer will be in it from the second Iron Man movie.
Yeah, I need to watch. I need to dig that out when I have time, but you forget.
Yeah. I've been looking at this image of Jude Law, and it just makes me frustrated that yet another Jedi has survived the dark times when Yoda told Luke Skywalker, "When I die, the last you will be," and that's it's just not true. There's other Jedi's out there.
Well, I mean, maybe they hid themselves from the Force.
Maybe. I don't know.
I mean,
I
that's
don't.
it's
I don't like
doable.
it. Cal Kestis is out there. Ahsoka's still out there. I mean, Ahsoka's not a Jedi, but there's an asterisk there, like
Right.
not a Jedi, but a Jedi.
Yes, exactly. She can use the Force, but she's not a Jedi because she cut her braids off.
Right. Now Jude Law, but maybe he's just a Force user because the kid's like, "Are you a Jedi? Or you're a Jedi?" But you don't see him like say, "Yes, I am." He just removes his cloak like he is a Jedi.
Yeah,
So it's not a Jedi cloak.
it's just a cloak. I don't know. Anything else, Jason? Is there anything?
No, Disney Parks panel will be tonight. We'll talk about that next week. I have no clue what they're gonna do.
Okay. Um, because you just reminded me what I was thinking of. So with this, because this is in the Anaheim Convention Center, correct?
Yes,
D23.
correct.
So like all the big panels are at the Honda Center, which is down the street, which is basically the basketball stadium, I
If you
believe.
say so.
Okay. It's not they're not held at the same location. So they're held at a bigger venue.
Well, they had that domed place right next to the convention center in Anaheim, so I don't understand why they wouldn't use that.
The Honda Center holds more people.
Oh, well, maybe that's why they did. So they can make more money by selling more tickets.
Correct. Well, that's what I'm getting at.
Oh, Disney's being greedy?
Yes. No, I mean, yes, Disney's being greedy, but do you think that they are going to take that model and bring it to
Oh boy, they better not. They
and
better
just
not. If they start charging for panels, no, don't do that.
or at least the bigger I thought they were charging for panels at the Honda Center. Like it was a separate ticket.
Yes, for D23.
Okay.
Yes, but not for Star Wars Celebration. They shouldn't be doing that for Star Wars Celebration.
I mean, how big I mean, I didn't do any research, so I don't know what they're charging. I don't know if it's like $20 Is it $20 or is it $100?
No,
Is
I
it
saw like front row tickets were $1,200 or something like that.
that better have
For
been for the whole weekend with
I think it
admission
was.
into the huh?
I think it was. I think it was the same seat throughout the whole thing.
And you got admission into the convention?
I would hope so. I don't know.
I
I
could
thought
see them. Go ahead.
I thought these tickets were separate from the D23 convention.
I'd have been pissed paying $1,200 just to see some panels, no matter how good they are.
Yeah, they better not do this with Star Wars Celebration.
I
Or if
mean,
they
they,
do,
huh?
or if they do, they need to do it after like if there's one in 2027, they need to do that afterwards.
I mean, because
Like
they
it's
already huh?
no, go.
No, they already kind of are with the VIP and the Jedi Pass. I mean, they're only doing what a couple of hundred of those, and they're
Mhm.
triple the price, so they're like $900, maybe $1,000.
Yeah, and they're impossible to get now because the only way to get one is if you had one previously,
Oh,
and
and
then
so
they
people
sell
are
out.
just yeah,
So
that
if you bought
stinks.
one for the last celebration, you get first dibs into buying tickets for the next one
Right.
or general open.
I'm just it's getting harder and harder. I mean, I don't know. People, I guess the one for Japan, people had pretty easy it was pretty easy to get tickets for. But I mean, if you're not right on top getting tickets for Celebration, you're not going to get tickets for Celebration nowadays.
Right. I remember what I wanted to ask you because you're a Hallmark collector.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Darth Vader Hallmark ornament, the one that looks like a carded Kenner?
I don't think that one's out yet. I didn't see it when I was there in July because they'll release they release them in two waves. They do
Yeah.
a July wave and an October wave.
There's a SDCC sand person ornament that they released,
Yeah.
but I haven't seen a three-dimensional image of this. Is it just like essentially like a lanyard? Is it just like the pass on a lanyard and it's just a flat image, or is there something that they glued on to make it look like a 3D image ornament? Because if it's 3D imaged, I want to get it. If it's like I don't I have a bookmark in front of me, like a bookmark. It's just like printed on paper, but it's some sort of PVC shiny plastic. Like I'm not interested in that.
Right. Um, I've seen a couple of them pop up on now why is this saying it's $25? I guess it's $25 at the thing. I just pulled it up online. Yes, I want to know if that bump out, if they actually made some kind of bubble with either a figure, and I doubt it's a figure, but it'd be nice if that bubble had at least a printing on it or something. Maybe it's a static figure that they put in the bubble.
I
Yeah,
need
I
to
want
see
to know
it.
what it is. It's got to have some kind of bump out. There's no way that it looks like just like a badge or something for that
But
money.
yeah, if it's a badge, I'm out. If it's three-dimensional, then I think I want to try to get that sand person.
Right. I've seen a couple of them pop up. I thought I saw one pop up on Deal or No Deal. and they went
Yeah.
for like $50.
Yep, it did. But if it resonates and more people want it, it's going to be more than $50 in another year.
Right.
Because that Rancor ornament is just selling for like $1,000.
Well, shoot, the Wampa one is expensive.
Yeah.
It's like $500. I'm looking at one and it looks like it could be. So I pulled one up on Deal or No Deal, and it looks like it could be like a figure inside of a bubble. I mean, nothing incredible. No, it's not very detailed, but it looks like it could be a figure, very poor, like a dollar store figure inside of a bubble.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I'll keep my eye out, and if I need to, I'll pick one up.
Yeah, and it was one. They said they made 3,500. I mean, I've got a couple of the Star Wars or special ornaments, and they're cool to have. But yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see when that Darth Vader. Let me.
My wife just sent me a bunch of she likes the Vera. Was it Vera
Vera
Wang?
Bradley.
Vera Bradley, yes, thank you. I didn't think that was right. Vera Bradley purses, and there's a Disney one, and she keeps sending me like these, like, oh, this one's cute, but it's too expensive. This one's cute, it's too expensive. And I keep sending her these gifs of guys winking, like, okay. Mm-hmm.
Sure thing, baby. Yeah.
I got the idea. Uh-huh.
Christmas is right around the corner.
The hint has been planted.
Right. I'm looking up to see when the Darth Vader. Let me see. Darth Vader ornament. I'm trying to see if it can.
Riveting
coming
podcasting.
soon. Yeah, it's great podcasting. So the Darth Vader ornament is coming soon, and hold on. There's a close up of it. It looks like it could. Well, no, see, that's 3D rendered. So I mean, it does look like it's some kind of figure in a bubble.
Okay.
But it's something I want to see before I buy it. I mean, it's cool looking. If they did it the way I think they did it, it should be pretty cool. And it's $23.
$23. Got it. Well, thank you for listening to the Smugglers Galaxy Podcast. If you could, please leave a like and a 5-star review of the show anywhere you listen to podcasts. It really helps us out and points people to our show. Follow us on social media. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Send us an email or message us. We'd love feedback, and we'd love to make you part of our show. The email address is smugglersgalaxy@gmail.com. Thank you to Alfonso Riviera for the Smugglers Galaxy logo. And thank you to Levi Waterhouse for the music. People, collect for it for the love of it. # vote with your wallet. Zeb will be in the next movie. Pass on what you've learned. Be a positive force in the collecting community. This is the way.
This is the way.